Okay, once again, welcome to our classroom. We are on our week 4, quarter 3. First, let us start with a prayer. Lord Jesus, I pray today that you multiply your grace on me, subtract and take away all of my sins by your mercy you have shed on me. Add to my awareness a better understanding of your will for me in my life. I will divide my blessings and grace with those that are not as fortunate as I am. In your perfect and most holy name, I come to you, Jesus, and ask these things. Amen. Once again, I'm your grade 7 mathematics teacher, Maria Eliza Nunez. Our objective for this week is to use a compass and straight edge to bisect lines, segments, and angles and construct perpendiculars and parallels. Okay, try to observe these human face sketches. After observing that, I want you to answer the following question. First, based on the sketches, how can you describe the lines or segments used to sketch a face? Next, what is the purpose of those lines? Next, where do you think you can apply these skills in constructing human face sketches? So we have two lessons. First is how to bisect segments and angles. So this is what the straight edge look like, or you can also call it as the ruler. And then we have the compass. The uses of that for the straight edge or ruler is to draw lines, segments, and rays that we tackled last week. Then for the compass, used to construct angles. So how to bisect a segment? Again, this is just an example. So we have here our task together is to construct the bisector of line segment JK. Okay, this is the line segment JK, as you can see in the figure. Then we have a step-by-step process on how to construct our segment or to bisect the segment. Set up your compass. Here is the compass, such that the tips cover slightly more than half the length of JK. Okay. The other point of the compass should be on your point J. Make sure that the other point will be able to be more than half of your line segment JK. From point J to that point, you will draw an arc like this one as shown in the figure, or you can call that almost semicircle, half circle. That is the step 1. For the step 2, you will do the same setup, but this time from the point K, you will draw another arc, the same with what you did from the step 1. Make sure the two arcs intersect each other. then you will find a point there, the point of the intersection. That is for your step 2. So, this will be your task later on. You will make your own bisecting of a line segment. So, you should know the label by label. As you can see, we have now 2 arcs, and on that arc, there is 2 points of intersection. Next, we have step 3. As I say, you have 2 points of your intersection. So, on the step 3, you will connect that 2 points. In connecting that, you might use your straight edge or ruler to make it a straight line. Connect the 2 points. Therefore, you will have now the segment LN. For the point L, point N. And since they are connected, they can be called as line segment LN. And finally, on your step 4, name the point of intersection of line segment JK and line segment LN. So, if the 2 arcs have their point of intersection, your line segment that is formed also have a point of intersection, but that is only one. And you need to name that. As you can see, it is in the middle. You put again a point and name it or label it as M. Then that point will now be called as point M. And what do we call that point M? Point M now is called the midpoint. And the meaning of the midpoint is it bisects the segment. When it says that it bisects the segment, it means it divides the segment into 2 equal parts. Thus, you now have line segment JM, based on the figure, is equal to line segment MK. So that is how you bisect a segment. You have step 1 to step 4 process. How about in bisecting an angle? So this is the task, another task. You also have it. So for another task, we have construct the angle bisector of angle E. Here is our figure on the right. Here is the angle E. And we are being asked to construct the angle bisector of our angle E. It also have step-by-step process. First one is place one of the tips of the compass at point E. Again, we're going to use our compass. Draw an arc intersecting the sides of the angle. Name the points of intersection P and T. You might be asking, Ma'am, how does it look? Don't worry, the figure is on our next slide. This is how it looks. This is your point E. Then, you draw there. From here to here, you make an arc PT. So, that is for your first step. And for the next step, at point P, this time, at point P, set up your compass slightly wider than half. As you notice, it is always more than half of the given line segment or the given arc. So again, it should be wider than half the arc PT. Since this is your arc PT, and you will draw another one from there. Should be more than. You will draw another arc or a semicircle. So that is for the step 2. And for the step 3, using the same step as you do in step 2, this time you put your compass at point T. Then make another arc. Then the two arcs have their point of intersection. And you will name that point of intersection as point W. Ma'am, why don't I need to name the other point? There's no need to name that point because our goal is to make angle bisector. So we just need one point of intersection this time. Okay, next, for step 4, we will now draw from point E to point W and extending infinitely from there. That's why it's called ray. You now form a ray. So, ray EW is the ray bisecting angle E. Thus, it is called an angle bisector. And if you have a midpoint for line segment, here we have a ray, and it is called an angle bisector. It also means the same, but this time you divide the angle to two congruent angles, or two equal angles. Thus, you can name this as measure of angle PEW. Take note as I move my cursor. Measure of angle PEW, that is the angle, is equal or congruent to measure of angle WET. Or, simply, angle PEW is congruent or equal to angle WET. So that's how you make an angle bisector. Next, we are now on our lesson 2, how to construct perpendiculars and parallels. So we need to recall that perpendicular lines are intersecting lines that form right angle, while your parallel lines are lines that do not intersect. Both of these lines are on the same plane. Now, how do we construct perpendicular lines? As you can see on our first task, to bisect a line segment, we can use that because there is a right angle that is formed by the two segments. So, use the same procedure to construct the perpendicular lines. Just add that right angle there. And here is how it looks. To show perpendicular lines, since on the first task we have is just a segment, this time those segments, you can extend it. You can make it into a line. Therefore, just put an arrowhead on the two line segments that we have before. Then put the right angle like this. This is the symbol for right angle. Then you can finally say that line JK is perpendicular to our line LN. So that's how you make your perpendicular line. Just the continuation of your task 1 or task A. Next, how to construct parallels. So to construct parallels, Our task is to construct a line parallel to a given line. We have here line PT. Then we will draw line K, intersecting line PT at point A. Take note, I add another point here, a little bit nearer to point P. Then, I'll make a line that intersect that point A, and I name it as line K. So that is your step 1. And for the step 2, at point A, you already have the point A there, set up your compass to draw an arc intersecting now your lines K and line PT. So, since it intersects your line K and PT, it can give you another 2 points. That's why we have now the point B and point S. Since you intersect the 2 lines, you make an arc on it. So that is the step 2. Step 3, using the same setup, draw an arc at a new point C. So you place again another point on your line K, and you name it as point C, which is nearer to your point B now. You name it as point C. Then, you put another point, which is the point of intersection, point D, since you're going to intersect it again. And for the step 4, set the compass opening as wide as the distance between points B and S. So this is your at point D. This time you will draw now an arc at point D. Name the point of intersection between of the 2 arcs, point E. Here now is your point E. And finally, draw line passing through C and E. This line is line CE. You can finally now see that we form a parallel line by doing those arcs. So we have line PT and line CE are called parallel lines. Again, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect. So that is for the step 5. So here is the learning task again. For the learning task, you need to use a straight edge and a compass to perform the following task. You just need to follow the step-by-step process that I said a while ago. For the task A, find the midpoint of line segment AB. The name of the midpoint is W. And for the other points, you can name it on your own. Task B, draw the angle bisector of angle Z. For task C, construct the line perpendicular to line XY. For task D, construct the line parallel to line RS. So the step-by-step process are already shown a while ago. We have the criteria or the rubrics for you to be rated on those drawings that you will do. Completeness and clarity is what we have for 5 points. All the necessary labels are evident. It means all the lines, segments, arc, and points are clearly drawn for you to get the 5 points on each task. Now, then for 4 points, there are few missing labels. Some constructions are not drawn clearly. And for 3 points, almost more than half of the needed labels are missing. The final desired construction is unclear. So that is the rubrics for you to be grade on the task A to D. And we also have a quiz. This is 1 to 5 items, but you just need to choose the letter of your best answer. For number 1, in bisecting a given segment DE, what will be your step 1? A. Locate a point between points D and E. B. Using a straight edge, draw a segment passing the middle of line segment DE. C. Using a compass at point D, draw an arc more than half length of line segment DE. Or D. Connect points D and E. And for number 2, in the figure, line segment LN intersects line segment JK at point M, which is the midpoint of line segment JK. Which of the following is true? A. JM equals MK. B. JK equals JN. C. KM equals KL. Or D. JM equals JL. For number 3, in bisecting an angle XYZ, which of the following is a possible angle bisector? A. Ray XW. B. Ray YW. C. Ray ZW. Or D. Ray XZ. For number 4, ray AM is the angle bisector of angle SAP. Which of the following is true? A. Angle SAM is congruent to angle PAM. B. Point A is the midpoint of line segment SP. C. Ray AM and ray AS are perpendicular. Or D. Ray AS and ray AP are parallel. We also have a figure for that number 4 item, and here it is. Just take a look and choose the best answer for number 4. Next, we have finally number 5. If two lines intersect and form a right angle, which of the following is true? The two lines blank. A. Are parallel. B. Are perpendicular. C. Bisect each other. Or D. Bisects the right angle. After answering your task A to D together with the quiz, we also have a little bit of review if you still know the term. This just numbers 1, 2, 3. We have for number 1, what do you call the point that bisects a segment? Number 2, what do you call the ray that bisects an angle? And number 3, what is the difference between perpendicular and parallel lines? After answering all of that, you can now proceed to your reflection, either via video blog, narrative post, or photojournal, or to your preferred reflective mode of documentation. Just don't forget to include the 3 statements: I learned that, I realized that, and I will do. Then we can finally say, madaling-madali ang math, as simple as that. Once again, I'm your grade 7 mathematics teacher, Maria Eliza Nunez, now signing off.